another wonderful day, and another journey begins anew. Let's say I go to the city and look for some tasty fish-based meals. Wait, let me see. No more. A pity. Guess a samurai like me ought to find a job. Oh. Wait, let me see. Jobs. In a fantasy world such as Teyvat, I've always wondered what it was like to be someone living here. I mean, I think it's already been asked a lot on which region are you choosing, or which is the region that feels like home to you, or anything like that. I think there's no problem with that, as we all love to imagine and fantasize, but video games are considered to be our escape from the stress and frustrations that life has to offer. So, what about if we were given the chance to live inside one of these games we play daily? Anyways, about that, if one of us did get to live here, we have to be able to find jobs. I mean, right? Mora just doesn't fall out from the sky. As someone who played Genshin Impact back in 2021, I was still just a lowly college student whose sleep pattern is basically a graveyard right now, and I haven't really considered which jobs to take after I graduate. Well, surprise, surprise, that came back to bite me. Lucky for me, I managed to find one, but as I was playing Genshin Impact on a random day, what would be the different jobs in Teyvat? Will they be safe or risky to the average Teyvatian? And so this gave me the idea for this video, which I'm surprised it hasn't been covered yet. So get ready and pack your stuff, as we're off to a job hunt in the fantasy world of Teyvat. To begin with, we have to first look at the different types of goods associated with each region, whether it be livestock, food, luxury, weapons, or even service goods. I suppose it's best to start with jobs unique to each region, and later discuss the other general jobs, which are blacksmiths, helpers, or even soldiers. In the region of Mondstadt, it's been mentioned multiple times how they are the main contributor for alcohol and wine, thus resulting with their drinking culture. But this actually gives an opportunity for locals to either start a business or entertain guests during the day. So to list it down so far, there are bartenders, bards, tavern owners, or winemakers. Now, Mondstadt is also known for its adventures and Knights of Favonius, and each occupation has certain requirements to follow, such as its rigorous training, specific skill sets, and patience. There is quite a bias with Mondstadt's Knights of Favonius, as most of its members are from well-known families such as the Ragnvinder, Gunhildr, and Lawrence clans. It seems that those who come from these families seem to inherit some type of higher positions within the Knights, so it could be hard to seek a favorable position if you're just a normal NPC. Take a look at Noelle, who is described to work timelessly but still isn't considered as a knight. There are also jobs in terms of religion, as Mondstadt is known for its worship of their god Barbatos. Yeah, not quite as they might have expected. Anyways, these are the church handles such as nuns or windmill keepers, but I don't think they can be distinguished as jobs per se, as they seem to be voluntary and rely on the donations of the people as compensation. In summary, there are bartenders, bards, tavern owners, shop owners selling flowers and goods, a steady adventurer if you have the knack for exploration, and lastly a knight, which does sound good on paper. Moving on to Liyue, it's been noted how merchants and traders are the backbone of its economy. So if you're planning to start a business such as selling any type of goods, Liyue can be a good place to start. However, Liyue is also known for its tea making and cuisine, which is quite fun for a normal NPC while also making a living. Either working as a chef or a farmer, it's worth noting that Liyue relies on a great portion of these occupations, as tourists from all over Teyvat describe it to be unique and exquisite.
Nice.
Another mention is that Liyue is the only region so far to have a pharmacy, which is surprising but not quite, as Liyue's climate offers a lot of medicinal herbs that give them an edge compared to the other regions. To add to that, Liyue is full of minerals and rocks, which is hard for an NPC not to take notice of. Working as a miner in the caverns of the chasm is the one to go to, but can be harmful in the long run, as we saw how the mines within the chasm to be full of creepy monsters and these goo-like projectiles. Lastly, more jobs in Liyue include being an informant to the Liyue Qixing, involving espionage and undercover work. Another is being one of Beto's crew on board the Alcor, which honestly sounds a lot more exciting if you're looking to collect stories about your adventures and maybe tell them to your grandchildren. Joining in with being an exorcist or a mortician, as similar to Shenhe, Chongyun, and Hu Tao. Now if you're up for the challenge, you can also hope to be a part of the Liyue Qixing, handling a lot of administrative issues, but they tend to be difficult to reach as a normal NPC. Imagine working hours like Ganyu, where even 3 secretaries can't handle her work ethic. There are also storytellers, theater arts, and martial arts professionals, but these jobs tend to rely on one's skill set, as it requires a high qualification. So all in all, there are traders, merchants, miners, chefs, herbalists, espionage, exorcists, morticians, tea-making, pottery, a ship crew, storyteller, administrator, martial arts professor, and theater arts. Jumping on to Inazuma. Its main unique product is the art of bladesmith, as noted from the main families producing these types of weapons. Yakutsu Mine is known to be the source of all the ores required to make these, but was forced to shut down during the civil war between Watatsumi and Narukami Islands. Still, after the mine was restored, workers would go back to these places, but should be wary of the living curses that scattered throughout the island, such as the Tatarigami. Of course, there is still the job of firework making alongside Yoimiya and writing novels with Yaimiko. These can be profitable, as Yoimiya and her father are the only firework makers in the whole region, thus monopolizing a unique trade, as well as writing novels which could get recognized by numerous people if it is considered a hit. Cuisine in Inazuma can also be considered, as Chongyun notes how their dishes can take away exhaustion after a hard day's training. However, don't go sharing this with A, as Inazuma's cuisine could suffer a literal shocking decline. Anyways, numerous textiles are also used to create Inazuma's clothing, as noted with Kyori introducing this art in Fontaine, resulting in a boom to her tailor business. There are also the shrine maidens and kabuki theater performers, as seen from Kukishinobu and Ito. There are also jobs that specialize in espionage and detective work, such as Sayu and Shikanoin Hezo. Now, if you're looking for a job in Watatsumi, as beautiful as the place is, there isn't much to do, as the land is described to be infertile due to the holy soil incident. So usually the ones living here rely on fishing and trading as their source of income and living. Summarizing what I know about Inazuma is that the jobs here are as such: bladesmithing, mine worker, shrine maiden, pyrotechnics, espionage, but one that can seem to sleep all day, detective, kabuki arts theater, novel writer, tailor, and chef. Going on to Sumeru, I think their main trade is knowledge, seeing as how many scholars hope to graduate and finish a thesis research before they get to do this. As the nation that houses the Sumeru Academia, it values wisdom and rationality, so you could land a job as part of a research and development team where you get to go out and explore the different places of Teyvat in search of hidden texts and lost technology. It quite sounds a lot like me, and you could also add the frustrations and stress that comes with it. Anyways, we can also consider the forest rangers that are tasked with protecting Sumeru's lush forests. While Sumeru does not have a dedicated military force of their own, you could also get a job as a mercenary working alongside the Eremites that patrol the deserts and do certain tasks according to the client. Dancing can also be considered working alongside Nilou in the Zubar Theater, but I guess the pay wouldn't go that well as Nilou notes that Zubar Theater frequently faces funding issues, which is quite sad because who would not want to pay for another of Nilou's graceful dancing? So jumping on to the other available jobs, merchants and culinary can also be considered, as Port Ormos and Bight of Harbor are the region's main trading hub, as well as a unique taste of food involving spices and different types of cuisine. So to summarize it all, there are researchers who can either choose to be a historian, data scientist, professor, mathematician, food technologist, or you can also be a forest ranger, a performer in Zubar Theater, a mercenary, a ship trader, a business owner, and lastly a culinary chef with knowledge of Sumeru spices and ingredients. Moving on to the final playable region we have at this point, which is Fontaine. To be honest, I've thought of this idea because of how Fontaine would be a great place to work at. Of course, disregarding the coming flood. So anyways, Fontaine is the region we have that offers a lot of high quality technology, so by nature gives opportunities to those eager to learn these things, and maybe introduce them to the different regions. To start, Fontaine is mostly known for its laws and how they handle these cases, so being a judge or lawyer can be a good job to land for those interested in court trials and hearings. Imagine defending a case against Farina and Nervalette. It's quite fulfilling to see the look on their faces on how they have lost. Anyways, diving is also considered to be an occupation here, as noted by Fontaine's terrain. So diving alongside Femine and uncovering underwater ruins has a nice ring to it. Being a magician can also be one, as magic shows have become more and more famed due to Linny and Lynette's performance. Another is being a reporter and journalist for Fontaine's newspaper, the Steambird, where news can travel fast into Vat with the help of your future articles. There are also jobs which include some dangers, such as being a champion duelist, which requires you to have exceptional skills in combat. You can also try to enlist in the Maçon Gardiennage, which enforces Fontaine's laws and locate and arrest criminals. However, if you don't want any of these, you can also work alongside Risley as a warden who patrols the confined prisoners of the infamous fortress of Meripede. Also, not to mention landing a job in Fontaine's Research Institute where you get to tinker and invent different forms of advanced technology like an automaton or a mechanized dog. Fontaine also houses the majority of guns, so there could be a job which creates these guns and tests them for final delivery. If you're one for the visuals, you can also be a painter and use the mesmerizing landscapes of Fontaine as inspiration to put in your blank canvas. Also, by using the camera, you can be a photographer and capture numerous colors scattered across the Bailu region. Because Fontaine is also known for its rock and roll music, being a musician can also be quite the occupation if you have the knack for entertainment. Cake maker can also be a good idea as Fontaine is known for this, especially how Farina often chooses different cakes as part of her pastime. With the release of Emily, perfumery is also quite nice, since working alongside Emily could be your personal dream, especially since you get to see her invent scents using the dead smells of her foes. Lastly is becoming a personal bodyguard to Navia, but take note that Melis and Silver were considered to be her best, but if you want to give it a try, then applying is okay, knowing that she might bombard you with her cannons if you mess it up. So far, Fontaine has a lot more occupations that I may have not yet listed, but these are the ones in my mind which are unique to the region. All in all, jobs here can be a lawyer, a judge, a diver, a magician, a rock and roll musician, a reporter or journalist, a painter, a photographer, an inventor or an engineer, a gunsmith, a champion duelist, a police worker, a warden, a cake maker in the perfume industry, a shipborne merchant, and a personal bodyguard for Navia. Now, these are the different occupations that, in my opinion, are unique with their respective nations. It's quite noted that Fontaine has a variety of jobs given their advanced society and technology. As for the general jobs, there are blacksmiths, farmers, traders, soldiers, cooks, fishermen, and shipwrights. If you think I missed any more, let me know in the comments. So that's all I have for this video. Which region would you prefer to work in if you were given the chance to enter Teyvat? I think it's important to mention that some of these occupations require a vision, which makes it quite hard for a normal NPC to compete with. I only made this video as a fun topic because of how nice it would be to just leave the real world behind and maybe live within the continent of Teyvat. As for the upcoming regions yet to be released, such as Natlan and Snezhnaya, we still have no details about any occupations unique to the regions, but I guess for the region of Natlan is the art of making chocolate and chewing gums as the Mayans, which is one of the cultures that inspired the region of Natlan. They were the first to create these types of flavors. Also, it can be considered that boxing and calendar making can also be one. As for Snezhnaya, it was noted that the people there mostly stay indoors and consider living as a blessing due to the harsh climates. Still, it is noted that Snezhnaya's military technology is far superior to those of the other regions, even with Fontaine having guns as one of their technologies. We could guess that gunsmithing is also one of their occupations, but it stops there. Anyways, if you have some thoughts about the video, as well as any more occupations in Teyvat I forgot to mention, leave a comment and let us know. Thank you very much for watching, and if you've hung around to the end, give this video a like and hit that bell to be notified for more videos. Once again, my name is Clementine, and as usual, until the next one, be safe and stay tuned.